Hey, not a lot going on around here lately. Let's just see what's behind this door. No, is there a better door around here, maybe?
¿Qué ustedes piensan de los gringos?
Son lindos, así como tú, atractivos.
¿Y has salido con uno de ellos antes o no?
Sí.
¿Sí? ¿Y cómo fue eso? ¿Todavía están juntos?
Bien, súper.
¿Es tu novio en este momento? ¿Actualmente?
No, somos amigos.
¿Qué tú dirías entre los gringos y los colombianos? ¿Cuál tú prefieres?
Me parecen más atractivos los gringos.
Ok, so físicamente. Algo específicamente que tú dices, wow, este es el gringo que yo quiero.
Son bien y son hermosos.
My most favorite animal on the internet is the passport bro. Yeah. Because like they don't realize that the emperor has no clothes. I mean, the emperor is buck naked. And is there a single woman out there who hears about these passport bros and feels threatened or scared that all the good men will just poof, disappear, and we'll be left all alone with our Netflix and our wine and our cats? We will miss out on the privilege of having to be a good, obedient, quiet, and submissive wife. That's such a shame. We will never have the opportunity to be socially and financially isolated from the family and friends and entire life we know. God. To be thrust into an unfamiliar land with an unfamiliar culture and, of course, unfamiliar language. To be fully dependent on this one man, this one good man, of course, who went deep into the villages of an impoverished country to buy or find himself the bestest wife who would ever wife. I mean, good luck. Good luck, especially with the Eastern European broads. I'm one of them. I've got generations of that drumbeat in me, and I can promise you, not a lot of submissive there. American women will be left with no other option than to enjoy our life with our hobbies and our family and our friends and our peace. Is there any worse of a fate than that?
You are coping and seething. You just can't accept what you're seeing. Yes, you're coping and seething. The truth it is scalding, and now you are molding and coping so hard. Coping and seething.
Hashtag men's rights.
Men's rights to go to war and die.
Jesus Christ. Yes, I don't know who these women are. You said you knew one of them, right?
Yeah, she's one of those fourth wave, super hyper masculine, I don't need a man, men ain't shit type of feminist.
There is a such thing as like radical feminism, fourth wave feminism, where they think like men are just worthless and women done got to the point where they don't even need a man. Even some of them even believe they don't really necessarily need men for like procreation.
Yeah.
Men think they're so much more important than they are. Like,
that's what
we
I'm
don't even
saying.
need y'all for a good nut no more.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what truly are y'all good for? Y'all aren't even building. Y'all aren't going to war. All y'all do is wear dangly earrings and paint your nails.
So how do women even get to that stage? Like, did they just get hurt?
Isn't it great? We asked for equality and now we're getting it. Look at all these men treating us as equals.
Men actually need more advocacy. There's more women going to college, for example. That's another one.
That's a choice.
Wait, so hold on, just so I'm clear. When it comes to university, back when there was a underrepresentation of women in university, it was the patriarchy and sexism. But now that there's more women in college, it's just men's choices.
Well, what?
Yo, what do you do for a living?
Huh?
What do you do for a living?
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
What do you do for a living?
No.
What?
I truly don't know how to explain to men that they'll never be good enough for me. My stepfather has been with my mother for 11 years. He's been trying to marry her for 6. Proposed to her 4 years ago in her dream house. She walked in, she's like, oh my god, this is the most amazing fucking house. He was like, surprise, it's yours. Will you marry me? With her dream ring from Tiffany's. In the same, like, fucking blow through everything, right? He moved us all out to Colorado, like 2 years before. Moved us all out to Colorado. He's putting us all through school. She was like, I'm gonna go back and get my doctorate. He was like, okay, here you go. He's paying for my brother's education. He's paying for my education. He's a cook and a baker. Do you know how impressive that is to be able to do both? He is the most fantastic chef I've ever eaten with. Like, I would eat his food over Gordon Ramsay's. Gordon Ramsay has nothing on him. He has McDonald's. compared to my father's cooking. Okay? For her birthday, hand-cut, custom-made jewelry. Christmas, same thing. He brings home flowers all the time, makes her makes her bread. He does make bread. Actually, it's fantastic bread, but he makes her breakfast in bed. She says she's in school and she's not working. He just makes dinner. He cooks. My mom doesn't touch the kitchen. She doesn't cook. She's like, I can't cook. So she makes him cook. He cooks. He cleans the whole house. When he goes on business trips, he'll walk the dogs before she gets up. He'll make her breakfast before she wakes up. He'll go to the airport, and when she gets up, everything's done. And she just has a beautiful sit-down breakfast. They still haven't set the date. It's been 4 years. We still don't know when they're getting married. My mom's like, yeah. Like, baby, if you're seeing this, good luck, 'cause you're gonna need it, Charlie.
Sounds like her mother married a rich simp who's her butler 24/7. This whole video drove me crazy, because what's sad is that he's good enough to start his own family, but because he doesn't know his real value, he's wasting his money, time, and resources on someone else's family. Kids that aren't his, and a woman that is using him. No woman is worth what he's giving her. She doesn't even cook and clean. Now that's just crazy. And now, because of the simp, the model thought in the video thinks she too deserves someone like him. A rich man who will be her butler 24/7 and cook her meals. With these types of standards, she'll be single for the rest of her life. Matter of fact, she should marry her stepdad since her mom doesn't want to. Because with MGTOW and passport bros, there's no way a man of that value will do all of that for a single mom in the future. Top comment says, I bet she is just as loving and caring to him in the ways that he desires and needs, so it's mutually loving. No, she's not. All I've heard was what he did for her, not one thing she's ever done for him. Matter of fact, she rejected him multiple times and still won't want to marry him. She's getting an advanced degree, which means what class? She has the perfect cover to cheat. This is why modern women in relationships don't want to be housewives. It's because it's harder to cheat. There's no reason why she should go to school if she has a sugar daddy like him. He does everything for her except for spoon feed her the actual food. Second top comment says, Poppy could do better. Exactly, guys. If he has to do all that for her, she don't love him. This simping is Super Saiyan. I honestly want to meet this man so I can slap some sense into him. I swear to God, I'd probably catch a charge. This is all just wrong. He can have 5 18-year-old virgin 10s in a traditional country who will cook and clean for him. He could live like a rich Saudi prince with a harem of virgin 10s. The entitled female in the video responds, I feel for you, and it's not right that you were hurt, but don't project your personal traumas upon other people because you would actually relate to both of them. This is some basic B answer. Whenever a man states the obvious and calls them out or exposes them, these bedwenches respond, who hurt you? I swear these thoughts are like NPCs. She responds again to her comment, both his ex-wife and my biological father cheated on them and treated them horribly. They found each other and treat each other amazingly. That explains a lot. Her mother didn't do shit, so wonder why she got cheated on and the dude left. And I'm pretty sure she had kids with a top 5% physically gifted male who's probably a ladies' man, if she looks similar to her daughter. And the rich simp got cheated on because he's a simp. He has no respect for himself. He thinks he can buy a female's burning desire. It's honestly sad. And cheating for men and women aren't the same. If a man gets cheated on, it says he's not inept. If a woman gets cheated on, it says she married a valuable man. Another red pill comment. Get used to being alone. A modern woman responds, no, get used to women demanding better. You get used to being alone. We aren't settling anymore. These females demand more and offer less. I don't know if they know this, but there aren't rich simps on every street corner, and of course, they want a handsome one. This scenario is 1 in 10 million. And the entitled girl in the video responds, fun fact, the happiest women are single, the least happy are married, lol. If she's so happy being single, then why is she demanding this perfect guy to be with her? And she's clearly clueless. Sure, single attractive women in their 20s are probably having the time of their life riding the carousel, but once they become a post-wall and want to settle down, that's when the misery starts. For 50 years, 40% of modern women using some type of drugs like antidepressants or being an alcoholic doesn't shout happy to me. Bottom line is that, yes, this female in the video is stunning, but there's more of her than this mythical man she demands. like 10,000 to 1. There will be no more simps on this level, especially with the age of the internet where many men are exposed to MGTOW or at least red pill ideas. She'll be played by a rich man who can throw away money like that, because she'll demand him to be handsome, and a handsome rich man is what class? Probably a player. He'd have to have a micro dick or be really mentally challenged not to be one.
So let me explain something about child support. So you feel me? This is a 1-day check where I made $25 an hour for 5 hours. They took child support out twice, even though I have 1 child. This was my check. Let me show you another check. Boom. This check was supposed to be $900, $450. This check was supposed to be, I think, the gross pay. Okay, child support didn't come out of that one. Here we go, another one. This check was supposed to be $1,000. It's $544. This is for a child that lives with me, bro. This child lives with me. I could keep going for days. This is $150. This is $150. I got $40. This is the system that we live in. Let's see. Boom, 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 boom. This check was supposed to be $160. I got $40 fucking dollars. Let's show you. I could do this shit for days. This check was supposed to be $350. I got $144. Let's see what this one says. This check was supposed to be $1,000. I got $490. My child lives with me. I get served child support papers and they're saying, oh man, whatever, you gotta pay child support. And so I called her after like 2 days because I was furious. I called her and she was like, oh no, that was just, what did she say? Oh, because she applied for food stamps. And so I was like, all right, well, you feel me? You ain't finna put me on child support, are you? She says, no, I'm not gonna put you on child support. I'm not going through with that. I'm like, cool, I don't show up to court. I don't file any paperwork or whatever. She goes through with it and tells the people that I'm a deadbeat and I'm never around my child. Mind you now, I know nothing about this, so I'll run into a friend who works at the child support office and she says, hey, your case came across my desk. You need to go down there ASAP. When I go down there, they tell me, oh man, you just have to pay off a balance of like $1,800 or whatever, and then you'll get out of the arrearage, the extras for the arrearage, and then you'll just pay the balance. I said, well, what is the balance? She said $23,861.63. In the state of Florida, if you only have 1 child, they can take 60% of your check. So I had my son Monday through Friday surviving on $20 checks and $40 checks. I work for a union that's contracted through like 3 different companies. So I'll get a check for $20 and $40 and $70. And I got to live off that and provide for my son and put gas in the car, take him to school, do the uniforms, tutoring, all that shit. When we show back up to court.
That's the reality about child support. The state will automatically rob your hard-earned check. And as you saw in the video, the guy was left with barely anything. More than half of his check was gone. If you make $20 an hour, after child support, it's minimum wage of $10. If this isn't a great ad for wearing protection, or better going MGTOW, I don't know what will be. And as you saw, dude had full custody of his kid, the court still robbed his wages. If he lives with you, go back to court. If you have proof you have full custody, then go back to court. The single father in the video responds, waiting for court since before COVID. These courts aren't in a big hurry when they're collecting your money. You think they're going to want to stop that gravy train? His deadbeat baby mama lied on purpose because a lawyer probably told her to so she could get easy money, because there's very little consequences for her doing so. That's the anti-family court. Bruh, I know the feeling. I'm in Texas, ain't no better. Sadly, a lot of so-called conservative states aren't better either. The government sees a cash grab opportunity and it's on it like a hobo on a ham sandwich. Another comment. I was on child support for 28 years and I just paid them off in January. When that happens, it's the state that's old. Go to court and get it modified. Dude was literally a slave for 30 years. Damn, that's a lifetime. Let's say he had his first kid at 18. He stopped paying at 46 years old. That's the critical wealth building years of his life gone because of the child support leeches. think of what he could have done with that money instead. Not only live a great life, but had he invested that same money in the S&P 500, which is the basic B investing, he could have retired early.
Hey, I'm gonna go hang out with the boys. Do you wanna come with?
No, I'm gonna hang out with girls for a minute.
Hey, I'm gonna go hang out with the boys right now.
Alright, have fun.
Alright, so my girl's been acting super weird, super weird. Every time we hang out, she's always on her phone texting other people. I don't know who it is. So I'm gonna hide out. I'm not actually going to hang out with my boys. I'm gonna hide out and I'm gonna catch her. Watch this. Alright, so I just heard a sound outside. I heard a car door. I'm literally hiding upstairs right now. I'm honestly so fucking pissed. Who the fuck is this guy? Who the fuck? Part 2 update on the girlfriend situation. First off, there's so many questions flooding in, but I caught her red-handed basically, right? And so everyone's asking, how did you catch her? What led to that point? Blah, blah, blah. What led to the point was basically she's acting sus. We'd go on dates, we'd go on trips, places, we would do things, and she's always texting someone. So I'm like, this is weird, and she's not telling me who she's texting. So I'm like, whatever, brushing it off. Then I start to ask her friends, yo, is she okay? I asked her, is anything wrong? She said everything's fine. So I'm like, okay, everything's fine. One night I came home from work, and she was acting a little bit off when we were making dinner. She was overly happy and everything, and I was just like, all right, maybe she's in a good mood. But then again, I was like, this is kind of weird. And someone's texting her in the background, but she's still not saying anything. So that's when I decided to put her to the test, because I knew something was up when I was at work or doing something. Like for part 3, I'm out of time.
If she's already making you uneasy and you think there's something going on, it's time to end it and move on. A relationship would enhance your life and give you peace, not add more stress. The signs were clearly there. She mentally checked out, like texting whenever they were together. If she's texting her girlfriends while she was with him, that would be a problem unto itself, because it shows a lack of respect for his time. Females on their phones all the time are trash. That's the first red flag, because they're addicted to social media. I don't understand why. If anyone is unhappy, leave, don't cheat. Because these females still want the benefits of a relationship, which looked like living in that guy's big house and using his hot tub. They're so entitled they'll use men for their resources without any remorse, because they probably saw their own deadbeat single mom divorce rob their birth father. Monkey see, monkey do. Brought him to the house, bro? Some cheating wives will even screw another man in their husband's bed and not even clean the sheets. That's why you can't commit to these feminists.
2 months before my ex-husband and I finally separated, we had a trip to Disney planned. And a few weeks before that trip, my ex-husband had gotten fired from his job and was yet again unemployed. I think the wives on here already know before I say it, but I planned that trip myself from top to bottom. It's not because I didn't want help. It's not because I didn't ask for help. It's because he would not give me help. I had narrowed down the Airbnbs to a handful of options, and I just wanted him to finalize the decision with me. Could not be bothered to find 5 minutes to sit down and look at houses with me. So I rented the house myself. I rented the minivan to drive there myself. I coordinated the trip from Pennsylvania to Florida for 4 adults, my parents went with, and 2 kids, myself. And if you've ever planned a trip to Disney, you know you don't just show up on a whim to Disney. You need to know which days you're going to which parks, and then within those parks, you need to know which restaurants you really want to go to, because you have to reserve them months in advance, especially if it's like the high demand restaurants. And then you want to do your fast passes for the big rides in advance, and then you have to coordinate your lunch reservations with your ride reservations to make sure you can get there in time. So there I am looking at maps of the parks, trying to coordinate. Can we get from that ride to that restaurant? Is that enough time? Like hours of planning, hours and hours of planning. And then packing everything for the kids for a week in Florida, plus obviously packing everything for myself. All this man had to do was show up. He just had to show up with a suitcase of clothing. I paid for everything. I coordinated everything. He just had to show up. And do you think he appreciated that? No. Shocker, right? The bitching and moaning this man did the entire trip. Nothing suited. Nothing suited. It was too hot. It was Florida. There was too much walking. There was too much waiting in line. What's the point of having reservations if you still have to wait when you get there? Why is our lunch reservation at 1:45? Who eats lunch at 1:45? Because that's what was available. Because that particular restaurant, I remember it. I don't remember what it's called, but it's the one in Magic Kingdom where like Winnie the Pooh and them all are. And it was important to let the kids have lunch with Winnie the Pooh, even if it was at 1:45, right? Just like nothing about it suited. And if you have young kids, ours were 5 and 2 at the time, and you're planning a trip to Disney, you know that that trip is not really about you. You might find some stuff that you enjoy while you're there, but the trip is for the kids. It's about letting them have that magic experience, and then you get your fulfillment from watching them have that experience, right? Like, you're not going to get to do everything you want to do, but you want to try and get your kids as many of those experiences. So we had lunch at some weird times so that the kids could have lunch with the characters. Like, that's just what you do. But every part of this trip was just so much bitching and moaning, and nothing I had done was good enough. Everything was, well, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? Bitch, why didn't you help plan it? Right? Like, I had to do everything. And I will never forget, on the drive home, we stopped at a Chick-fil-A for lunch, and I was driving that portion of the trip. Like, we had the 4 adults, we took turns driving. I was driving as we were cruising into lunch, so I handed him my phone, because I had the Chick-fil-A app, and just to have him put in the lunch order. And it was such a fucking debacle that, like, he didn't even order anything for me. And so we get to Chick-fil-A and we have to wait for the food because I had to order more. And my mom and I are with the kids in the little play area they have there. And I lost it. Like, I just finally had a meltdown. And I remember saying to my poor mother, what's worse, putting the kids through a divorce or spending the rest of my life with this idiot? And she just looked at me, because up until that point, like, I hadn't really voiced to my parents how unhappy I was. Like, I was kind of leaving them out of it, right? But I had just seen what the rest of my life was going to be like with this man. It was going to be me doing everything and it never being appreciated. And I just couldn't do it. Let's stop pretending that letting your partner default to making all the decisions is somehow doing them a favor. Let's stop pretending that saying, oh, you do what you decide, whatever you want. Let's stop pretending that's like a gift, because it's not. I don't want to be told, oh, you decide. I want you to decide. I don't want to make all the decisions.
Who knows how much she bitched and nagged at him for not having a job and when demanding his attention to help her plan a trip. Why even go on a trip if they're in financial straits? If he lost a job, the best thing she could do is help him get a new job and not plan a vacation. So no wonder why he may not be that happy about the vacation. He feels like a loser for not having work, and she demanded him to take a critical week off. A full week trip to Disney for 6 people is easily over $2,000. No wonder why the guy is stressed as hell. She wants to live above her means for the quote-unquote experience for social media. But let's say he's a real idiot. She's the one who picked him. I bet she's the one who demanded the guy to be over 6 feet tall and maybe athletic like a former athlete and have a master stroke in the bedroom. Those physically gifted males like Chad and Tyrone are dumber than a box of rocks. That's the typical trade-off. You know, when you're building a video game character and you max out certain stats like strength and speed and looks, but leave other traits to 0 or super low. That's what God did to Chad and Tyrone, maxing out their height and dick size, and like I said, she co-signed his stupidity by having his kids, saying to nature that she wanted to promote his genes. And this is what most men have to deal with, not being good enough for modern women. Top comment with over 40,000 likes says, I recently read about miserable husband syndrome, and I believe a lot of men have this. If she's saying most men in the West feel like the post wall in the video, then that's true. This is why only 6 out of 1,000 men are getting married. But if she's claiming that miserable husband syndrome are men who are useless as the one in the video, that's typical for these females to equate the actions of Chad and Tyrone to most men. TikTok made me realize there are a lot of married single moms on this planet. That's because these modern women get married for the wrong reasons, and it's only in the feminist West. We want a partner, not another responsibility. I swear, these females pick the Chads and Tyrones and act like they're the victims. Most men have to deal with a wife who wants a free ride for the rest of her life. They don't even cook and clean, yet expect the men to pay all the bills.
I'm not trying to be one of those like melodramatic girls who gets on TikTok and's crying. I just happen to be a crier, sorry. I'm so goddamn tired of being the fifth wheel, or the third wheel. And I like got into it with my friend today. And she was like, well, it's a lose-lose. Either they don't invite you and then you're hurt because you're left out, or invite you and you're the third or the fifth wheel. I'm just over it. I'm exhausted by it. I'm like fucking tired of it. I'm tired of feeling like the loser who doesn't have someone. I'm tired of feeling like the person who like doesn't know how to like grow up and move on with their life. I'm tired of feeling like shame because like no one's chosen me, or I haven't found somebody that like, and like for the most part I feel like I'm good and I don't really like, you know, stress about it. But every now and again it just hits me when I'm just like, yep, my plans this weekend include being the fifth wheel to multiple dinners, parties, happy hours. And it's not a big deal. I have like a million things going for me, but sometimes it just hits me.
At the end of the day, having sex in the city lifestyle leads these bedwenches to being single for the rest of their life. In her case, she probably burnt all the bridges with the men she can have a relationship with because they all know she sleeps around. They've seen her Tinder profile pop up every 4 months, every year, and some of them have already smashed her. So every year that passes by that she's single, it becomes more and more obvious she's a leftover woman. This is why a lot of 304s move to a new city to start over, so no one knows her dating history. Good on her friends, who are smart enough to cash in before it was too late because it sounds like they were buzzer beaters. As Coach Greg Adams says, women who sucker a man into a marriage before they hit the wall. Top comment said, third option, your friends could plan things with just you and leave their partners at home. That's a no, because then that's a ladies' night out and it would put her friends' relationships at risk. This is why her friends are better off cutting her off and moving on. She's dead weight. She makes things awkward by being the only single person there. Successful men cut their loser friends out of their life, usually on the way to becoming successful because the loser friends will hold them back, even if they're childhood friends. My friends say to me, I can't wait for you to have a boyfriend so we can do things together, double dates, instead of saying, you and I should go do this. That's because her friends are real friends. They want her to be with someone and they're giving her a chance to change for the better by giving her motivation. But she's not getting the hint, and instead wants to jeopardize their relationship so she doesn't have to feel bad. Because any quality man who knows his worth will not stand for the woman he committed to hang out with other single women. It's the relationship or girls' night out. Girl, there must be something in the air. This was me today. A good cry in the car because I'm tired of being the third, fifth, or seventh wheel. This is the consequences of being a 304. This is why many modern women, especially with the MGTOW and passport bro reality, are going to die alone after 60 years of cat lady misery. As always, I wish you tremendous success. Now it's your turn. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Remember that if you leave the best comment, you'll get $5. Thank you so much for watching. If you found value in this video, hit the like and subscribe buttons, ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on future uploads, drop a comment, and share it. See you in the next video. Till next time.